My mother, 70 years old, barely able to walk some mornings, sat on her wooden porch chair when the HOA president shoved a pistol in her face. And what was her crime? Not baking cupcakes for a neighborhood party. Imagine that a gun aimed at an elderly woman just because she dared to say no. That's when I knew this wasn't about baked goods. This was about power, control, and how far I was willing to go to stop it. Mal. Act 1. The spark of conflict. Let me rewind. My name's Jonah Brenner, 38 years old. I work as a forensic auditor, the kind of guy who spends days combing through messy spreadsheets until fraud jumps off the page. Numbers don't lie. People do. I moved back to Silverwood Crest when my mum's arthritis got worse. Mum Eileen Brenner is 70 now. She's always been the heart of any community. The type who baked for charity drives, planted flowers by the mailbox, waved to strangers like they were family. But she's slowing down. Knees ache, hands stiff, balance shaky. And that's when Patricia Hensley, Queen of the HOA, pounced. Patricia's the type who turns rules into weapons. Platinum blonde bob, sharp pantsuits, designer sunglasses she wears indoors. She loves reminding everyone she's president of the board, like it makes her royalty. So, here comes the HOA's spring party. Mandatory attendance, mandatory contributions. Every house had to provide a homemade dessert. Homemade non-negotiable. Mum tried to keep up. She really did. But arthritis doesn't care about bylaws. She bought cupcakes from the bakery down the road, nicely boxed, frosted, ready to go. Patricia showed up on our porch, heels clacking like gunfire. Clipboard in one hand and yes, a pistol in the other. She sneered at the store-bought box. This is unacceptable. Everyone participates equally. You don't get exceptions. I stepped out from the garage, froze at the sight of cold steel pointed at my mother's chest. Put the gun down. Patricia, I said, voice low, steady. You're breaking half a dozen laws just standing there. She smirked, like I was the fool. You don't scare me. Rules are rules. You comply or you pay. That was the beginning. 2 days later, an official notice slapped on our door, $500 fine for non-compliance with event bylaws. Alongside it, a photo of my mother on the porch taken without her knowing, proof of violation. The message was clear: comply or we'll humiliate you. Act 2. Escalation and the twist. I wish I could say neighbors stood up for us, but fear makes cowards out of decent folks. People waved less, whispered more. At the next board meeting, Patricia read our violation aloud like it was a criminal indictment, and not one person objected. Mum looked smaller after that, quieter. She said, Jonah, maybe we should just pay the fine. It's not worth the trouble. I wanted to agree. I wanted peace. But deep down, I was seething. Still, I questioned myself. Maybe I was overreacting. Maybe I was dragging my mum into a fight she couldn't win. For a few nights, I lay awake wondering if silence was the smarter play. But then Patricia went further. A laminated, non-compliant resident list appeared on the HOA bulletin board. Mum's name in bold letters at the top. Our porch photographed again. The cruelty wasn't about money anymore. It was about humiliation. That's when I snapped. At the next meeting, I started paying closer attention, and I noticed the treasurer Mark Ellison shifting uncomfortably whenever Patricia mentioned community security funds. Something was off. Afterward, I cornered him in the parking lot. Mark, what's going on with the books? I asked. He hesitated, then shoved a flash drive into my hand. Don't tell her it came from me. I stayed up that night combing through the files, and there it was, tens of thousands of dollars marked as security upgrades, paid to some no-name company specializing in tactical gear. The invoices looked padded, inflated, maybe even fake. Then came the smoking gun literally. Emails Patricia had sent, instructing the treasurer to approve bulk purchases of firearms and equipment under the guise of community safety. She wasn't just running a neighborhood party fund, she was stockpiling weapons, using HOA dues to do it. I contacted an old colleague at the ATF, someone I trusted. He ran the company name and came back with confirmation. Patricia had leased a storage unit under the HOA's name, and inside, likely unregistered firearms and ammo. This wasn't just HOA bullying anymore. This was federal crime territory. Act 3. The showdown. Patricia, of course, planned her masterpiece, the annual HOA Gala. Mandatory attendance. Black tie. She billed it as a celebration of compliance and community spirit. More like a coronation. Mum didn't want to go. Her knees hurt. Her pride hurt worse. But she said, if this is how she goes down, I want to see it. So, we went. The banquet hall was draped in white linens, banners reading unity through rules. It felt more like a cult rally than a community party. Patricia took the stage, smiling like a dictator. We are stronger when everyone complies, she declared, glaring straight at my table. That's when the doors opened. Two men in plain suits walked in ATF agents, calm, professional. They approached the stage. Mrs. Hensley, one said, we have a federal warrant to search your storage unit and seize property purchased under fraudulent means. The room went dead silent. I stood then, voice carrying. You pointed a gun at my mother over cupcakes. Turns out, that was just the tip of your crimes. We have the receipts. Patricia, every dime you stole, every illegal purchase you made. The agents popped open one of the black containers Patricia had proudly displayed as safety kits. Inside, ammunition, high-capacity magazines, and handguns still wrapped in plastic. Gasps filled the hall. Phones came out. Cameras flashed. Patricia's mask cracked. She shrieked, this is all lies. I did this for the community, for protection. But no one stood by her. Not the treasurer, not the board, not a single neighbor. The agents cuffed her right there under the chandelier lights. The same woman who once paraded around with fines and clipboards, now dragged past folding chairs and stunned residents, wrists bound in steel. Mum sat straighter in her chair, her eyes watery but fierce. She whispered, took long enough. Final beat. That night ended not with cake or dancing, but with Patricia shoved into a federal vehicle, her empire of fear collapsing in plain sight. Chifis. Lesson. Batumai. Bullies use fear to control, but the moment you shine a light on their lies, their power crumbles faster than they ever imagined.
Ciao.